Green Party has been negotiating with government for some time over whether or not we could lend our support to the emissions trading scheme. I'm not going to announce today either what that decision is or detail about any agreement. What I'm saying today is that the Green Party is going to have to make a very difficult decision at its caucus on Tuesday. And we said right at the beginning of this process that we would tell the public what it is that we're seeking in the negotiations and wouldn't sort of hide deals behind closed doors. So this is a bit of a progress report, and you're going to be frustrated that I'm not going to give you as much detail as you like, but that is just the way it is. And we would like to hear from New Zealanders and NGOs and other groups what their views are on the ETS, and we would like to take their views into account when making our decision on Tuesday as to whether we can vote for this or not. It is, of course, going to have to be a three-way agreement. There are three parties involved. It's not just between us and Labour, and that's one reason I can't go into a lot of detail today. But as you know, we set out at the beginning that things that we wanted to achieve were to bring agriculture into the agreement earlier, so they didn't get a 5-year subsidy from the taxpayer, to at least partially reverse the decision to delay transport for 2 years. We were concerned that the allocation was going to lock the economy into old technology and make it impossible for new entrants with highly efficient technology to get established in New Zealand. We wanted to do something about that. We wanted more transparency around the allocation plans. We wanted a biodiversity standard for afforestation so that pines didn't just get planted all over important ecosystems. And we wanted recycling of revenue into assistance for households. We're now in a situation where some of those things are off the table and we're not going to get progress. On other things we are making progress, and the decision we have to make on Tuesday is how we weigh those up. On the negative side, there's no ability to move on transport. We wanted to phase transport in earlier. That was also what Treasury said, phase it in gradually, but there is no scope to move on that. We've made very little progress on agriculture, which is disappointing, but there are still some details that we're talking about. But the government is adamant that their promise to agriculture that they will not have any obligations before 2013 is absolute. One that we're particularly concerned about, but not completely finished with yet, is we're finding it very difficult to find a way that we can ensure that pine planting doesn't destroy biodiversity. We're finding it difficult to find a way that that can happen, that the government can accept. And we may well not get all that we're looking for in that respect. Weighed against this, there will be substantial assistance for householders to make their homes warm and dry. And I can't reveal the number today, but it will be big. And I'm really glad that all parties seem to be supporting that. We are dealing with the situation of locking the economy into old technology, and we believe we have found a solution so that innovative low-carbon technologies will have the ability to set up in New Zealand. We believe that the rules around allocation of free credits will be better, more transparent and tighter. That's probably the kind of outline of where we're going. So we have some positives and some negatives to weigh up, and we think that Kiwis ought to be able to express their views on what matters most to them, and so we've invited them to email us between now and Tuesday on their views of whether we should support this ETS. This is not simply a numbers game, of course, but we will be interested in their views and their arguments, and we will read carefully everything that comes into us up till the end of Monday.
Could you lay the details out? public pass an opinion on whether it's a good or bad scheme. It's on offer.
Well, exactly, and that is the problem when there is a three-way negotiation. You can't actually lay all the details out at this stage, but I think I've given a fairly good steer. There are some important areas where we're not making good progress or any progress. There are some other areas where we are making very considerable progress, and even if people let us know which things are really important to them and which things are not, we would find that helpful.
Can you say on the financial assistance, whether it follows the principles that you outline, which is that it's a subsidy for all, if you like, rather than one tied to your actual energy use? Have you achieved something along those lines?
Oh, we've been adamant all the way along that we would not sign up to anything where the more energy you consumed, the greater subsidy you would get. No, we've been very adamant about that all the way through.
And you've achieved that, or that's been agreed?
Well, we wouldn't need to be talking if we didn't.
If the Greens do fully support the scheme, it is likely to fall. The government wouldn't have the numbers. That's obviously something that must be weighing on your mind. That isn't the debate whether you should have something, even if it's not as strong as you'd like it to be.
It's always been a debate about what you do when you don't have the power to get everything you want. Whether something is better than nothing. There are some people who say something is better than nothing. There are other people who say this scheme actually does some damage as well as some good, and you have to weigh the pluses and the minuses, and that's what we're doing.
You previously expressed concern that the scheme as outlined in the design wouldn't reduce emissions sufficiently. Have your negotiations improved the amount that you think would reduce emissions a little more?
Yes, I believe that our negotiations will lead to greater reduction of emissions than would have happened otherwise. I also think they will lead to it being fairer, to the effort being shared more fairly across society. Those were the two criteria we set out at the beginning. It's got to be more effective, it's got to be fairer. I think we look like making some progress on both of those. The question is it enough?
How much more effective is this?
Well, I'm not going to put any numbers on that, and I don't think anybody can.
Isn't the call for it, which is basically an email poll, but a bit crude, and I thought you would have been a bit more of a stupid politician to be able to work out what the supporters want?
It's not a poll in the sense that we will simply count the number of emails that say one thing and the number that say the other thing. We're interested in the arguments people put forward. We're interested in their views about what is important. I don't think it's crude at all. I don't think giving the public a chance to have a say is crude at all. I think that's what transparent politics is about.
Isn't this more about political positioning though? Are you trying to put pressure on Labor or make it clear that the Greens are making some gains, something that may be lost when the final announcement is made?
We're doing exactly what we say we're doing. We said we were going to be transparent about this to the public. We are reporting progress and inviting input. That's all.
Has the Greens got a united view of where they've got to so far? Or are you split yourselves as to the benefits and disbenefits that are involved?
Well, until we have our caucus discussion on Tuesday, I can't really answer that. And I imagine that we will come to a single position. We usually do when we talk things through.
Who set the deadline on Tuesday?
If you count back in terms of the number of sitting days that are left and in terms of the time it takes to do final drafting around policy agreements, I'm not saying Tuesday is absolute, but it's pretty difficult to leave it any later than that.
Is that your assessment of the government?
I think it's everyone's assessment, actually.
So does this mean we will know by the caucuses in New Zealand first and the Greens, say by Wednesday next week, whether it's a go or not?
I would certainly anticipate that.
Is it late to be making up your minds?
Sorry?
Isn't it a bit late to be making up your minds, and even later to be going out and asking people what they think?
Well, of course, people have the ability to tell us what they think all the way through in that regard. Would you expect us to make up our minds before negotiations were finished, before we knew what the deal was? I don't think